is a presentation on issues in major urban infra contracts and suggested measures to achieve sustainable goals, which will be presented by Mr. Veer Narayan, who is the Technical Director, Project Management, Railway and Metro, Systra Ltd. He has over 34 years of experience in various leadership positions in projects involving railway works, embankments, bridges, tunnels, road flyovers and track works. Mr. Veer Narayan is ex-RS 11 batch and has invested most part of his professional journey in Indian Railways, including NTPC and IRCON internationally, and the private sectors, including Tata Projects. Mr. Veer Narayan is presently working for Systra Ltd as Technical Director, Project Management, Railway and Metro. And let's put our hands together to welcome him for his presentation.
Good afternoon and hello everybody. My subject today is the issue in major urban infrastructure contracts and suggested measures to achieve the goals. As somebody has said that projects are the means by which we convert the vision into reality. Whatever vision we have for the urban infrastructure project or whatever we have, these can be converted into reality only after these projects are executed, and therefore the contract management and contract documents has to be fine-tuned accordingly so that these projects deliver. Next. First of all, we should understand that what are the essential elements of the urban infrastructure projects. Every urban infrastructure project has multiple stakeholders. There are many parties who are stakeholders and can ask the questions. And second important feature is that infrastructure project has to work in between the public. It is working among the mass and he has to use the common facilities which is used by the public. Third is that limited availability of land is there. Land is not available and also working space is not freely available to him, and there is large accountability of the public toward the public. Every public asks the questions. Targets are tight and safety, security, health and environment issues gathers the prime importance, and these projects have the close project monitoring. So these are the challenges which urban infrastructure projects are facing, and therefore our contract agreement and contract principles should be fine-tuned for that. First is limited availability of working space, that I have already told. Then constraint in working timings, because when you are working in between the public, you don't have 24 hours to do the work. You have to see the public convenience accordingly. Then multitude of utilities are there. There may be water supply pipelines or sewage pipelines or telephone lines, and these have to be shifted. Accountability to public is of course the core principle, and in almost all the urban infra projects, cash flow is the issue, because contractor has to do many works in advance to bring the result and to bring it to the cost center. So cash flow issues are very, very important, and there are a lot of political interference and legal issues related with the urban infra project, and there is restricted movement of machineries. You cannot move the machinery as and when required. So these are the challenges. So first principle which we have to see is that what is the type of contract which we have to follow. Whether it is a item rate or design to build or design and build, or in case of some projects which are earning, we can go for BOT or PPP projects. So we have to see that what are the conditions of the project, what is the type of project. For example, if we are making a large hospital, then earning is not there, but it is to be from the government money. So it has to be EPC or item rate contract. So we have to decide the type of contract accordingly. Then these are some of the issues which I am highlighting, is that we have to see the safety, security, health and environment issues because we are working among the masses. We have to see the safety of the masses, security of the health and environmental issues because every infrastructure project makes a lot of pollution, air pollution, water pollution, creates a lot of dust. So our contract agreement has to meet these requirements so that the contractor does the work without affecting the public space and public environmental and health issues. So these are, because if these issues are not taken care, then there will be resentment among the public and there may be large complaints. So these are the issues which has to be taken care of. Then second aspect is that we have to handle a lot of utilities and we have to manage the stakeholders because there are large number of stakeholders, everybody questions. So utility, we have to see that utilities are shifted in time, and in this I think contract agreement should provide for the role of employer because employer is better positioned to coordinate with the concerned department to remove these utilities. Leaving these things to the contractor or engineer will not make much of the result. Then multiple stakeholders are there and contractors are rather confused due to stakeholders. So better is that we should make a communication protocol that who is to communicate with whom so that there is clarity. And then there are many approvals from many agencies and employer has to take the lead in these approvals. So we have to fine tune our contract agreement accordingly. Apart from this, there comes the many contractual issues. Milestones, key dates are defined and purpose of these milestone key dates should be that there should be progress which are physical as well as financial. And these should be realistic and not theoretical. Second is that payment terms. Payment terms should be as flexible as possible because contractor who is investing his money has to get the money back as early as possible so that his cash flow is not affected. So payment has to be flexible and cash flow has to be taken care of. Because if cash flow is not there and if contractor suffers a lot of cash flow issues, then work will not progress. And penalties and LDs issues should be taken care of. I think penalty and LDs should act as a deterrent. They should not act as the retardant to the progress of the work. So our contract agreement should be made accordingly. Because we are working among the masses, so there are bound to be legal issues. Some person or other are going to the court to take the stay and all these things. So we have to be very careful of the legal issues and we have to fine tune our agreement according to handle the legal issues. And legal issues, I have listed some of the legal issues. So these issues should be taken care by the employer. Of course, has to be assisted contractor, but lead has to be taken by the employer only. I have studied two cases. You might have seen that this is between Vajirabad to East Delhi and conceived as late as 1998. It was completed in 2018 and it took about 20 years. And there was cost overrun. I think it was from 875 to 1000, something like that. So though structure made is very beautiful, but project cannot be treated as successful because it took a lot of years, lot of cost overrun to deliver the project, and there are some lessons learned from it. First is that regions which were attributed was there was no financial planning by the government. Though they achieved the project, they sanctioned, but there was no financial planning that how they will give the money. So financial planning was not there, and clearances, environmental clearances were not even taken, and it took a lot of time to take about 21 environmental clearances. And when you have the contractor who is just standing there and you are just taking the environmental clearances, you can understand that how much motivated contractor will be. Then there was no contractual planning, and earlier contract was terminated. Of course, it was not his entire mistake, but the contract was terminated and then it was re-awarded to some other party. There was lot of changes in the foundation and other structures because the foundation and all these things were not detailed upon. Crane support was changed, structure was changed. So, and even the type of structure, earlier it was thought to be concrete bridges, then it was steel pylon. So there were a lot of changes. So this is one of the bad example. When you are working in between the public, when you are doing the work, you should be thorough with your planning so that contractor, once it is mobilized, he should be given a free hand to work and he should be able to perform the work within the time. So this is one of the case study which I have brought to you. Opposite to this is the this was 65 kilometer both elevated and underground, and it was conceived in the same year 1998 and it was completed in 2005, well ahead of the target, 2.5 years ahead of the target. And like this bridge only, the work was done in the crowded area. It was done in the Sada area, Tees Hazari, lot of crowded area was there, but still it was completed within time. And there was lot of public interference also, there were lot of public utilities, but DMRC took the lot of interest, what you can disturbed. So there was a public trust for the DMRC. So reasons attributed, if you see the reasons attributed for the early completion of the work was that there was proper financial planning prior to the construction. DMRC was proactive in taking all statutory clearances. It was not the headache of the contractor. It was the DMRC authorities which has to remove the utilities were changed upon. And in some cases, DMRC itself took the step to remove the utilities. So that was the proactive step that they take. Design was meticulously finalized and there was no change at the later stage. And contract agreement which they had provided was very, very flexible. Whenever changes was required, the instant decisions were taken. And as the work was going at fast pace, there was lot of political and public support. So if you work in a proper way and with the proper speed, I have seen that political and public support comes to you. This was one of the success story for the infrastructure project. So I have given the detail of the one bad project and successful project. So my take is that we have to make the urban infra project in such a way that it is converted into the reality. We should be flexible. Contact matters should be taken in the right perspective to address specific issues like safety, security, utility shifting, communication protocol. All these issues should be well laid off, and there should be no confusion. And if we are doing a good work, then political meddling is minimized and public support comes to us. The delay, I have seen that delay in any project, that creates a mistrust in the public, and lot of political interference also comes in the forefront. And lastly, the transparency, care for public and good PR, that creates a good image for the railway, like good image for the project like the DMRC. So these are my conclusions, and I hope I have been able to push my points for this contractual reforms and the fine-tuning of the contract agreements.
Thank you very much indeed. Sir, may I request you to stay back and join the panel, the next panel. Thank you very much indeed.